Elena Martinez stands alone in Graceland Cemetery on a gray November morning, holding white roses and making promises to a headstone that will never answer back. Detective Carlos Martinez, born 1965, died 2015, beloved father. The inscription doesn't mention that he was murdered in an alley 3 blocks from a restaurant owned by the Chicago outfit, or that his case was never solved. Elena knows these details by heart because she spent 10 years preparing for this moment, to expose the mob and find out who really killed her father. "I'm doing it, Dad," Elena whispers. "The undercover investigation starts today." She places the roses against the cold granite and leaves before emotion weakens her resolve. At the Chicago Tribune building, her editor Marcus Webb is waiting with coffee and concerns. "You sure about this?" Marcus asks, stubbing out a cigarette. "Once you go undercover with the mob, there's no safety net." Elena sits across from him, her posture straight despite the fear churning inside her. "I've been preparing for 10 years. I've got a bulletproof false identity, Lena Ross, hospitality consultant from New York, real credentials, fake background, and I'm targeting Dominic Rossi's restaurant on Michigan Avenue." Marcus lights another cigarette. Nico Rossi, captain in the Chicago outfit, runs legitimate businesses as fronts for money laundering. Smart, sophisticated, dangerous. He slides an envelope across his desk. "You've got 6 months to get hard evidence, photos, recordings, documents that will stand up in court. And you work with Detective Ray Torres at Internal Affairs. He was your father's partner." Elena agrees to the conditions, knowing she'll probably break half of them before this ends. Within a week, Elena has transformed herself into Lena Ross, dyed hair, contact lenses instead of glasses, completely fabricated resume that checks out if anyone investigates. She studies everything about Rossi's restaurant and walks in on a Tuesday afternoon with a portfolio and confidence she doesn't entirely feel. The restaurant is beautiful, white tablecloths, soft lighting, the smell of garlic and fresh bread. Elena asks to speak with management about consulting opportunities, mentioning her experience at high-end New York restaurants. 15 minutes later, she's sitting in a private office when Nico Rossi walks in, and Elena's preparation proves inadequate for the reality of him. He's 35, tall and lean in an expensive suit, with dark hair and eyes that are simultaneously warm and calculating. When he smiles, Elena feels her pulse quicken in a way that has nothing to do with fear. "Ms. Ross," Nico says, shaking her hand. "I understand you're a restaurant consultant?" Elena launches into her rehearsed pitch about maximizing profitability while maintaining quality. Nico listens with focused attention, then asks an unexpected question. "What's your favorite dish on our menu?" Elena doesn't hesitate. "The orecchiette with sausage and broccoli rabe. Simple enough that execution matters, complex enough that it showcases technique." Nico's smile becomes genuine. "You actually know food. Most consultants I've met have never worked a dinner service." Elena relaxes slightly. This is her comfort zone. "I started as a line cook at 16, worked every position before going into consulting. You can't improve what you don't understand." Nico stands and walks to his window overlooking Michigan Avenue. "I'm going to make you an offer, Ms. Ross. Not as a consultant, but as my new general manager. My current GM is retiring next month. I need someone smart and ambitious who understands both food and business." Elena's heart hammers. This is better than she hoped. Full access to operations, the books, everything. "What's the catch?" she asks. Nico turns back, his expression hardening. "The catch is that I expect absolute loyalty. This restaurant is my baby. I don't tolerate betrayal. You work for me, you represent me, and if you ever do anything that damages this business or puts my family at risk, there will be consequences. Are we clear?" The threat hangs in the air, and Elena understands perfectly what he's not saying. "Crystal clear," she says. "When do I start?" Nico's smile returns. "Tomorrow, 6 a.m. Welcome to Rossi's Ms. Ross." The first month passes in a blur of 18-hour days and trying to find incriminating evidence. Elena proves herself quickly. She's genuinely good at this job, and the restaurant's numbers improve under her management. But she's also watching, documenting, photographing anything suspicious. She discovers that Nico keeps a private office on the second floor requiring keycard access. She notes that certain men come late at night for meetings never listed on the reservation system. 5 weeks into her employment, Elena gets her chance. Nico asks her to retrieve contracts from his upstairs office, giving her the keycard. After closing, when the restaurant is empty, Elena searches properly. In a locked drawer she picks open, she finds what she's looking for: a handwritten ledger showing cash transactions that don't appear on official books. Elena's hands shake as she photographs every page with her hidden camera. This is evidence of money laundering, proof that Rossi's is a criminal front. As she finishes the last page, she hears footsteps on the stairs. Someone's coming. Elena quickly replaces the ledger, locks the drawer, and is pretending to review contracts when Nico walks in. He stops in the doorway, expression unreadable. "Lena, it's almost midnight. What are you still doing here?" Elena keeps her voice casual despite terror screaming through her nervous system. "You asked me to get supplier contracts. I found discrepancies in the pricing. We're paying 15% above market rate." Nico walks slowly into the office and sits on the desk's edge, close enough that Elena can smell his cologne. "The reason," he says quietly, "is that our supplier provides services beyond just food delivery. Reliability, discretion, loyalty. Sometimes those cost more than comparing price lists." Elena nods slowly, understanding perfectly. The supplier is connected, and the premium is the cost of doing criminal business. "I understand," Elena says. Nico studies her with intensity that makes her feel naked. Do you? Do you understand what kind of business this really is? What kind of man I really am?" Elena's pulse hammers. This is where her cover either holds or collapses. "I understand that you run an excellent restaurant, treat your employees well, and your personal life is none of my business as long as it doesn't interfere with my job." Nico smiles, but it's not happy. "That's a very diplomatic answer, Lena, and probably a smart one." He stands and walks to the door. "Get some rest. You've been working too hard." After he leaves, Elena sits for 5 minutes trying to slow her heartbeat. Did he suspect her? Did he know she found the ledger? She can't tell, and that uncertainty is more terrifying than any direct threat. Over following weeks, Elena continues gathering evidence while trying to ignore growing attraction between her and Nico. They work together constantly, and the professional relationship is becoming something else. Nico invites her to his mother's house for Sunday dinner. Elena wants to refuse but can't without raising suspicion. She meets Nico Rossi, the 70-year-old matriarch who treats Elena like family immediately, and Gabriella, Nico's sister-in-law school. Elena sits at this table eating incredible pasta, listening to Nico read Italian poetry to make his mother laugh, and feels something inside her crack. These aren't monsters. They're a family. That night, Nico texts, "You looked beautiful tonight." Elena stares at the message before responding, "Thank you. Your family is wonderful." Nico's response makes her breath catch. "They like you. My mother already asked when we're getting married." Elena doesn't respond. She turns off her phone, knowing she's crossed a line she can't uncross. The attraction isn't one-sided anymore. It's mutual, acknowledged, dangerous. 6 weeks into her employment, everything changes. There's a private meeting at Rossi's. Don Frank Castellano himself with several captains, including Tony Marchetti, a brutal enforcer. Nico texts asking Elena to come in because his manager called in sick. Elena agrees, seeing an opportunity. She wears a wire hidden in a necklace and brings food to the private room several times, catching conversation fragments about territory, money, political corruption. But then she overhears Tony Marchetti complaining about Nico. "He's too soft. Won't authorize hits, won't move product through his restaurants. I'm telling you, Don Castellano, Rossi's a liability." Nico's voice comes next, calm but firm. "I'm running legitimate businesses. My way makes more money with less federal attention." The argument escalates until Don Castellano intervenes. Enough. Nico's methods work. Both of you are valuable. Elena is reeling. Nico is resisting the violence, trying to make the outfit less brutal. He's still criminal, but evolving the organization towards something less horrific. Then Elena's phone vibrates with a text from an unknown number. She glances at it and her blood turns to ice. The message contains a photograph, her father's police badge, and text. I know who you really are, Elena Martinez. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Alone. Or everyone discovers Lena Ross doesn't exist. Elena's cover is blown. Someone knows she's a journalist investigating the outfit, and they're giving her 24 hours before presumably telling Nico, telling Don Castellano, telling everyone who will kill her. When the meeting ends and outfit leadership leaves, Nico finds Elena cleaning up. You okay? You look pale. Elena forces a smile. Just tired. Nico steps closer. Lena, if something's wrong, if you're in danger, I can help. The irony crushes her. The danger comes from investigating him. But Elena can't tell him without getting killed. So instead, she does something reckless. She kisses him. It's desperate and wrong and breaks every journalism rule, but Elena is terrified and attracted and tired of lying. Nico responds immediately, pulling her closer. When they break apart, Nico's expression is intense. I've been wanting to do that for weeks. Elena's response carries more truth than intended. Me too. They stand surrounded by remnants of an outfit meeting, and Elena knows she's made everything impossibly complicated. Nico walks Elena to her car. Before she drives away, he leans through her window. I know you have secrets, Lena. Everyone does. But whatever yours are, they don't change how I feel about you. Elena can barely respond. I hope you still feel that way when you know the truth, she whispers, and drives away before he can ask what she means. That night, Elena doesn't sleep. She's crossed every line a journalist shouldn't cross, compromised her objectivity, kissed her target, endangered her mission. Tomorrow she meets whoever discovered her identity. Tomorrow everything either salvages or explodes, and Elena has no idea which outcome terrifies her more. Elena meets the mysterious contact at an abandoned warehouse in Pilsen at midnight. Wearing a wire provided by Detective Torres and carrying pepper spray she'll probably never get the chance to use if this goes wrong. The warehouse smells of rust and decay, and every shadow could hide someone waiting to kill her. She walks through the darkness following instructions from the text, 3rd floor, northwest corner, and finds an older man sitting on a metal folding chair beneath a flickering utility light. He's in his 60s, gaunt and pale in a way that suggests serious illness, and Elena recognizes him immediately from her father's old case files. Vincent Marone, mid-level outfit soldier, arrested twice but never convicted. Elena Martinez, Vincent says, his voice raspy like he's been smoking for 50 years. You look like your father. Same eyes, same stubborn expression. Elena stops 10 feet away, every muscle tensed for flight. You knew my father? Vincent laughs bitterly. Knew him? I killed him. The words hit Elena like a physical blow. She staggers slightly, hand instinctively moving toward the pepper spray. Why? She manages to ask. Vincent pulls out a pack of cigarettes with shaking hands. Your father got my brother sent to prison. 20 years on weapons charges. My brother hanged himself in his cell 6 months later, so I waited for Carlos Martinez in an alley near Rossi's restaurant one night, and I shot him. Twice in the chest. It wasn't outfit business. It was personal. Revenge for family. Elena's vision blurs with tears she refuses to shed in front of her father's killer. Then why tell me now? Why risk meeting me? Vincent lights his cigarette and Elena sees the tremor in his hands isn't just from age. Because I'm dying. Pancreatic cancer. 6 months if I'm lucky. And I'm tired of carrying ghosts. Your father was a good cop who was just doing his job. My brother was a criminal who made his own choices. I blamed the wrong person, and I've spent 10 years knowing it. He pulls out a manila envelope and slides it across the concrete floor toward Elena. That's everything. Names, dates, evidence locations, 20 years of crimes committed by the Chicago outfit, including murders Don Castellano ordered personally. It's enough to destroy the entire organization. Elena picks up the envelope with shaking hands, her mind racing. What do you want in exchange? Vincent exhales smoke. I want you to tell the truth about what happened to your father, that it wasn't a random shooting, that I killed him for personal revenge, that Nico Rossi had nothing to do with it. Elena's head snaps up. Why are you protecting Rossi? Vincent's expression softens. Because Nico is trying to get out. He's been secretly cooperating with the FBI for 2 years, providing information while trying to protect his mother and sister from retaliation. He's the only one in the outfit with any conscience left, and your investigation is about to expose his cooperation and get him killed. The revelation destroys everything Elena thought she understood. Nico isn't just a criminal trying to be less violent. He's actively working against the outfit, risking his life to bring them down from the inside. And Elena's investigation, her evidence gathering, her recordings passed to Detective Torres, all of it could expose Nico's cooperation and sentence him to death. Vincent stands slowly, clearly in pain. I'm turning myself in tomorrow, confessing to your father's murder and testifying against the outfit. But I wanted you to know the truth first. Nico Rossi isn't the enemy. He's probably the only reason the FBI hasn't completely lost this war. Elena leaves the warehouse with Vincent's envelope, her world inverted. She sits in her car for an hour, processing what she's learned, then drives to meet Detective Torres at their usual spot. Torres reads through Vincent's documents with growing excitement. This is incredible. We can use this to build RICO cases against everyone. Castellano, Marchetti, the entire command structure. But when Elena mentions Vincent's claim about Nico cooperating with the FBI, Torres's expression changes. That's classified information. If it's true, and I'm not confirming anything, then Rossi's cooperation would be part of a federal investigation we're not cleared to access. Your story can't mention it without compromising an active operation. Elena realizes the impossible position she's in. She has everything she needs for the biggest story of her career, but publishing it will expose Nico's FBI cooperation, making him a target for assassination. If she protects Nico by withholding information, she betrays journalistic integrity and fails to deliver complete justice. Torres sees her struggling. You're getting too close to Rossi personally, aren't you? He asks quietly. Elena can't deny it. I think I'm falling in love with him. Torres sighs. Then you need to decide what matters more, the story or the man, because you can't have both. Over the next 2 weeks, Elena continues working at Rossi's while wrestling with her conscience. She gathers more evidence, recordings of outfit meetings, photographs of illegal transactions, documents showing political corruption. She passes everything to Torres except the information about Nico's FBI cooperation. But the relationship with Nico is becoming impossible to compartmentalize. They work together constantly, and the chemistry between them has evolved beyond professional attraction into something that feels dangerously real. Nico takes her to his restaurant's anniversary celebration, where he publicly thanks her for transforming the business. His speech is genuine and warm, and Elena feels guilt crushing her chest. After the celebration, Nico drives Elena to Navy Pier where they walk along the waterfront despite the November cold. I need to tell you something, Nico says, stopping to face her. Elena's heart pounds, terrified he's discovered her real identity. But instead, Nico says, I'm planning to leave Chicago. Within 6 months, I'm getting out of the family business completely. I've been working on it for years, setting up my exit, protecting my family, ensuring they can't retaliate against the people I care about. He takes Elena's hands. I want you to come with me. I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other 3 months, but I've never felt about anyone the way I feel about you. Elena's throat closes with emotion. This is the moment when she should confess everything. Tell Nico she's a journalist, that Lena Ross is a lie, that she's been investigating him for months. But the words won't come because Elena realizes Nico is offering her exactly what she's been fighting for, an escape from the outfit, a chance at a legitimate life, proof that he wants to be better than his circumstances. If she confesses now, she destroys any chance they have and possibly gets herself killed. So instead, Elena does what she's been doing for 3 months. She lies. Yes, I'll go with you. They kiss on the pier with the Chicago skyline behind them, and Elena feels like she's betraying everyone. Her father, her principals, Nico himself with every dishonest word. That night, Elena makes a decision. She goes to her editor Marcus with the full story, all of Vincent's evidence, all her recordings, everything except Nico's FBI cooperation. I want to publish this, she tells Marcus. The biggest expose on Chicago corruption in decades. But I need you to protect one source, someone inside the outfit who's been feeding information to federal authorities. Publishing their identity would be a death sentence. Marcus studies her carefully. This source is Rossi, isn't it? And you're in love with him. Elena doesn't deny it. Does that compromise the story? Marcus considers for a long moment. Normally, yes. But if the source is legitimately cooperating with federal authorities and we can verify that independently, then protecting them is actually ethical journalism. Marcus agrees to publish with Nico's cooperation redacted, but there's a problem. The story is scheduled to run in 1 week, coordinated with Vincent Marone's arrest and confession. In that week, Elena has to maintain her cover, continue her relationship with Nico, and prepare for the moment when everything explodes. She's living multiple lies simultaneously, lying to Nico about who she is, lying to herself about whether her feelings are real or just part of the cover, lying to Marcus about whether she can maintain objectivity. The stress is destroying her. She stops sleeping, stops eating, exists in a state of constant anxiety, waiting for the house of cards to collapse. 5 days before publication, the collapse begins. Elena is at Rossi's late one night, supposedly working on inventory, when Vincent Marone is found dead in his apartment. The initial report calls it suicide. He hanged himself. But Elena knows immediately it's murder. Someone discovered Vincent was planning to testify, and they silenced him. All his physical evidence disappears from his apartment before police can secure the scene. Elena's investigation suddenly has a massive hole in it. Vincent's testimony was supposed to corroborate the documents, and without him, much of the evidence won't stand up in court. Torres calls her in panic. Someone inside the department tipped off the outfit about Vincent. This investigation has been compromised from the beginning. Elena realizes the corruption runs deeper than she imagined. Someone in law enforcement has been protecting the outfit, and that someone might be Torres himself. She starts investigating her father's former partner and discovers disturbing evidence: unexplained cash deposits, properties purchased above his salary grade, connections to outfit-owned businesses. Torres has been dirty for years, possibly since before her father died. Elena arranges a wire-wearing meeting with Torres, confronting him with the evidence. Torres breaks down and confesses everything. 15 years on the outfit's payroll, helping cover up crimes, feeding them information about investigations. He was there the night her father died and helped ensure the case stayed unsolved because Vincent Marone paid him too. The FBI, who's been listening, moves in to arrest Torres. But as they're taking him into custody, Torres delivers a warning. Your cover is blown, Elena. The outfit knows who you are. I told them weeks ago when you started getting too close. They've been watching you, waiting to see how much damage you could do before they killed you. You have maybe 48 hours before they move. Elena's blood turns to ice. If the outfit knows she's a journalist, they know she's been lying to Nico for months. They know she's gathered evidence against them, and they're planning to kill her within 2 days. Elena has one choice: tell Nico the truth immediately and hope he protects her, or run and abandon everything, including the man she's fallen in love with. She chooses honesty. She drives to Nico's apartment at 2 a.m. and tells him everything. The scene is devastating. Nico listens in silence as Elena confesses. Her real name, her father's murder, the investigation, the months of lies. When she finishes, Nico's expression is one of complete betrayal. You made me fall in love with you while gathering evidence to destroy my life. How is that different from what the criminals do? Elena tries to explain about justice, about her father, about how she fell in love despite herself. But Nico won't hear it. Publish your story. Ruin my life. Just stay away from me forever. He walks away, and Elena is left alone with the wreckage of everything she's built and destroyed. Elena doesn't go home after Nico rejects her. She drives aimlessly through Chicago's pre-dawn streets, past neighborhoods where her father once patrolled, past the cemetery where she promised him justice, past the life she's destroyed in pursuit of truth. By the time the sun rises, Elena has made a decision. She's finishing the story, publishing everything, and accepting whatever consequences come. Nico told her to ruin his life, so she will. At least then her father's death will mean something. She texts Marcus, "Run the story, tomorrow, everything we have." Marcus responds immediately, "Are you sure? There's no coming back from this." Elena types, "I'm sure." But Elena underestimates how fast the Chicago outfit moves when threatened. She's at her apartment packing essentials. Once the story publishes, she'll need to disappear immediately, when her door explodes inward. 3 men rush in, and Elena recognizes one of them, Tony Marchetti, the brutal enforcer who's always hated Nico. Marchetti grabs Elena by the throat and slams her against the wall hard enough that stars explode in her vision. "Where's your evidence?" he snarls. "Where are the recordings, the documents, everything you've been gathering?" Elena can barely breathe with his hand crushing her windpipe. "Don't know what you're talking about." Marchetti hits her across the face, and Elena tastes blood. "Detective Torres told us everything before the FBI arrested him. You're Elena Martinez, investigative journalist. You've been undercover at Rossi's for 3 months gathering evidence. Now you're going to give us everything you have, or I'm going to make you watch while we kill everyone you've ever cared about." Elena spits blood at him. "It's encrypted. Cloud storage. You can't access it without my passwords, and I'll die before I give them to you." Marchetti smiles, and it's the most terrifying expression Elena has ever seen. "We'll see about that." He signals to his men, and they drag Elena out of her apartment toward a car waiting on the street. Elena fights, screaming for help, but it's 6 a.m. in a neighborhood where people have learned not to get involved. They're shoving her into the car's trunk when gunshots ring out. 2 of Marchetti's men drop immediately, and the third dives for cover. Elena falls to the pavement and sees Nico standing 50 feet away with a gun, his expression cold and professional in a way she's never seen before. Marchetti scrambles for his own weapon, but Nico fires twice more, hitting Marchetti in the shoulder and leg. Marchetti collapses, and Nico walks forward with the gun trained steady. "You're not touching her," Nico says quietly. Marchetti laughs through his pain. "You're protecting the bitch who betrayed you? She's a journalist, Rossi. She's been lying to you for months, gathering evidence to destroy the family. You're choosing her over us?" Nico glances at Elena, and his expression is unreadable. "I'm choosing what's right over what the family wants. There's a difference." He pulls out his phone and makes a call. "Agent Torres, this is Nico Rossi. I have Elena Martinez and Tony Marchetti at my location. Send backup, now." Elena realizes with shock that Nico isn't calling Torres. Torres is arrested. Nico is calling someone else in the FBI, someone he's been working with all along. Within 5 minutes, federal vehicles swarm Elena's street. Agents arrest Marchetti and his surviving associate while paramedics check Elena for injuries. An FBI agent approaches Nico, a woman in her 40s who clearly knows him well. "Mr. Rossi, we weren't expecting this escalation so quickly." Nico hands her his gun. "The outfit knows about Elena's investigation. They'll come after her, her editor, anyone connected to the story. You need to protect them all." The FBI agent, her badge says Agent Rebecca Foster, looks at Elena with an expression mixing sympathy and frustration. "Ms. Martinez, your investigation just compromised a federal operation we've been running for 3 years. Nico Rossi has been our confidential informant providing intelligence on the Chicago outfit's entire command structure. Your story was about to expose his cooperation and get him killed." Elena looks at Nico, understanding finally clicking into place. You've been working with the FBI since before I started investigating. Nico nods. For 2 years. I was trying to dismantle the outfit from inside while protecting my family. Your investigation forced us to accelerate everything. Agent Foster explains the situation while paramedics clean the cut on Elena's face. The FBI has been building a massive RICO case against the Chicago outfit using Nico's intelligence. They were months away from coordinated arrests of the entire leadership when Elena's investigation threatened to expose Nico's cooperation. We need you to delay publication, Foster says. Give us 2 weeks to execute the arrests. After that, you can publish whatever you want. Elena shakes her head. My editor is running the story tomorrow. Once it's scheduled, stopping it would raise questions we can't answer. Nico interrupts. Then we change the story. Elena publishes about the outfit's corruption. All the evidence she gathered is legitimate, but she leaves out any mention of my cooperation. She presents it as her investigation alone. Foster considers this. That could work. It protects Nico's cover long enough for us to make arrests. The outfit will be too busy dealing with the exposure to realize Nico has been feeding us information for years. Elena realizes this is the compromise she's been looking for. Publish the truth about the outfit without sacrificing Nico. But there's a catch. If I publish without mentioning Nico's cooperation, the story makes it look like he's just another criminal. His reputation is destroyed along with everyone else. Nico meets her eyes. I don't care about my reputation. I care about stopping them and keeping my family safe. Publish whatever you need to publish. The words hit Elena like a physical blow. After everything she's done, all the lies and betrayals, Nico is still trying to protect her and help her get the story. Why? She asks quietly. Why are you helping me after what I did? Nico's expression softens slightly. Because you were right. The outfit is corrupt and needs to be exposed. You were just trying to do your job and get justice for your father. I understand that, even if your methods destroyed everything between us. The FBI takes Elena and Nico to a safe house where they spend the next 12 hours coordinating strategy. Elena works with Agent Foster to revise the story, removing any references to Nico's FBI cooperation while maintaining all the evidence of outfit corruption. It's delicate work. The story has to be complete enough to be credible, but incomplete enough to protect the federal investigation. Marcus is furious when Elena calls him with the changes. You're gutting the best parts of the story, the corruption inside law enforcement, the cooperating witnesses, the whole inside job angle. Elena holds firm. I'm protecting sources and federal investigations. We still have everything we need. Vincent Marone's evidence, the money laundering proof, the political corruption. It's still a Pulitzer-worthy story. While Elena works on revisions, Nico makes the hardest call of his life, telling his mother and sister they need to enter witness protection immediately. Elena overhears the conversation from the next room. Hears Lucia Rossi crying. Hears Gabriella asking why. Hears Nico explaining that he's been working with the FBI to bring down the outfit and the family is now in danger. We have to leave Chicago tonight, Nico says. New identities, new city, new lives. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. The pain in his voice breaks Elena's heart all over again. That evening, as sunset paints the safe house walls in shades of amber and gold, Elena finds Nico standing alone on the balcony. They haven't really talked since the confrontation at his apartment. Everything has been logistics and strategy. But now, with the story finalized and his family preparing to disappear, they have a moment that might be their last. I'm sorry, Elena says. It's inadequate, but it's all she has. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I didn't trust you enough to tell you the truth earlier. Nico doesn't look at her. Were any of it real? The dinners with my family, the conversations, the kiss at Navy Pier, was any of it Elena Martinez instead of Lena Ross? Elena's throat closes. All of it. Everything I felt was real. I fell in love with you despite every reason not to. That's what made it so hard. Nico finally turns to face her. I fell in love with someone who doesn't exist. Lena Ross was a lie, and Elena Martinez is a journalist who used me for a story. I don't know which version breaks my heart more. The story publishes at midnight. Within hours, it explodes across every news outlet in the country. Massive expose on Chicago outfit corruption, political payoffs, money laundering, decades of crimes. Elena's phone rings constantly with interview requests, job offers, congratulations. Marcus texts, "You did it. Your father would be proud." But Elena feels hollow. She got the story, exposed the corruption, achieved everything she set out to do 10 years ago. But the cost is a man she loves who can never trust her again and a family torn apart by her ambition. The FBI executes coordinated arrests 48 hours after publication. Don Castellano, multiple captains, dozens of soldiers. The Chicago outfit's entire command structure is taken down simultaneously based on evidence from both Elena's investigation and Nico's years of cooperation. The media calls it the biggest organized crime bust in Chicago history. Nico and his family are relocated into witness protection with new identities in a location Elena isn't allowed to know. Agent Foster tells her that Nico will testify in multiple trials over the next year, then disappear permanently. Elena wins awards for her reporting, journalism prizes, accolades from her peers, job offers from major newspapers. But none of it matters because the person she wants to share it with is gone forever, living under a fake name in a city she'll never find. 6 months after publication, Elena receives an unmarked envelope at the Tribune. Inside is a single photograph, a lighthouse on a rocky coast, waves crashing against stone. On the back, in handwriting, she recognizes, "Some dreams are worth waiting for, even if it takes a lifetime." Elena holds the photograph and understands it's Nico's way of saying he forgives her, that maybe someday there could be a second chance. But someday isn't now, and now is all that matters when federal witnesses can't contact anyone from their previous lives. Elena tapes the lighthouse photograph to her bathroom mirror next to a picture of her father. 2 ghosts from different parts of her life that she'll carry forever. The investigation is over. Justice has been served. The Chicago outfit is destroyed. But Elena Martinez has learned that truth and justice don't heal the wounds they create along the way. Some victories taste like ash, and this is one of them. 3 weeks after the Chicago outfit's leadership is arrested, Elena Martinez discovers that justice doesn't always mean safety. She's at the Tribune office late one night reviewing legal documents for the upcoming trials when Agent Rebecca Foster calls with news that drains the color from Elena's face. "We have a problem," Foster says without preamble. "Don Castellano made bail this afternoon. First thing he did was put out a contract on Nico Rossi and his entire family, $500,000, dead or alive, but preferably dead and public enough to send a message to anyone else thinking about cooperating with federal authorities." Elena's hands shake so badly she drops her coffee cup. "But Nico's in witness protection. You said he was safe." Foster's silence speaks volumes before she responds. "Witness protection works when people don't know you're in it. But someone leaked information about Nico's cooperation. We think it's another corrupt cop we haven't identified yet. The outfit knows Nico has been feeding us intelligence for years. They know he's the reason their entire command structure is facing life in prison, and now they want revenge more than they want anything else." Elena is already grabbing her coat and keys. "Where is he? Where's his family?" Foster hesitates. "I can't tell you that. It's protocol. Witnesses in protective custody can't have contact with anyone from their previous lives, especially not someone whose investigation helped expose them." Elena wants to scream. "The investigation that saved lives and brought down the most powerful crime organization in Chicago? That investigation?" Foster's voice softens slightly. "Elena, I know you have feelings for Nico, but those feelings don't change the rules. He's safe as long as his location stays secret. The moment anyone knows where he is, he becomes a target." But Elena can't accept that answer. She spent 6 months learning to hack systems and bypass protocols as part of her journalistic investigations, and she uses every skill she has to access federal databases she absolutely shouldn't be able to access. It takes her 47 minutes and multiple security violations that could send her to prison. But Elena finds what she's looking for: an address in witness protection housing in Portland, Oregon. Nico, his mother Lucia, and his sister Gabriella are living under the names Michael, Laura, and Grace Patterson in a safe house monitored by federal marshals. Elena books the first flight to Portland without thinking about consequences. She lands at 4 a.m. and drives a rental car to the address she stole from federal databases. The safe house is a modest ranch-style home in a suburban neighborhood designed to be completely unremarkable. 2 unmarked vehicles sit on the street, federal marshals maintaining surveillance. Elena parks 3 blocks away and approaches on foot, knowing she's probably being watched by security cameras. She makes it to the front door before a marshal intercepts her. "Ma'am, you need to leave this area immediately." Elena pulls out her Tribune press credentials. "I'm Elena Martinez. I need to speak with Michael Patterson. It's urgent. His life is in danger." The marshal recognizes her name. Elena's face has been all over national news for weeks. "Ms. Martinez, you're not authorized to be here. You're compromising witness security." Elena holds her ground. The outfit knows where Nico is. They're coming for him. "If you don't believe me, call Agent Foster and ask her about the contract Don Castellano put out this morning." The marshal makes the call, and Elena watches his expression change from annoyed to alarmed. He speaks rapidly into his phone, then looks at Elena with new urgency. "Come inside, now." The safe house is chaotic when Elena enters. Federal marshals are on phones coordinating emergency relocation protocols. Agent Foster is on a video screen shouting orders about moving the family immediately, and in the middle of it all is Nico, looking exhausted and resigned in a way that breaks Elena's heart. When he sees her, his expression cycles through surprise, anger, and something that might be relief before settling on carefully neutral. "Elena, how did you find me?" Elena wants to apologize, wants to explain, wants to tell him she came because she couldn't stand the thought of him being in danger. Instead, she says, "Don Castellano knows you're here. The outfit is coming." Nico's jaw tightens. "How long do we have?" Agent Foster responds from the video screen. 24 hours, maybe less. We're arranging emergency relocation to a deeper cover location, but it takes time to set up new identities and secure transportation. You need to stay inside, stay alert, and trust that we can protect you." But Elena sees something in Nico's expression that terrifies her. He doesn't trust that anyone can protect his family. He's already calculating odds and making plans that probably involve sacrificing himself to give his mother and sister time to escape. Elena stays at the safe house despite protests from federal marshals who insist she's not supposed to be there. She sits with Nico Rossi, now Laura Patterson, in the kitchen while the older woman makes espresso in a machine that looks out of place in the generic safe house. Lucia's hands shake as she pours. "You're the girl who broke my son's heart," Lucia says quietly. It's not accusatory, just stating fact. Elena nods, unable to deny it. "I'm also the girl who's going to make sure he survives this." Lucia studies her for a long moment. "You love him." Again, not a question. "Yes," Elena admits. "I love him enough to spend the rest of my life making up for what I did if he'll let me." Gabriella appears in the doorway, looking younger than her 26 years, frightened in a way that law school never prepared her for. "The marshals are saying we might have to split up, send each of us to different locations for safety. They're saying families are too easy to track together." Elena sees the fear in Nico's sister's eyes. The family has already lost everything, and now they might lose each other. "That's not going to happen," Elena says with more confidence than she feels. "We're going to keep you together and keep you safe." 16 hours later, Elena's promise is tested when security alarms trigger at the safe house. Someone has breached the perimeter. Federal marshals move into defensive positions, weapons drawn, shouting commands. Through the window, Elena sees multiple vehicles approaching, black SUVs moving with military precision. Tony Marchetti has found them, and he's brought an army. Nico grabs Elena's arm and pulls her toward the panic room the marshals have designated as last resort shelter. Get my mother and sister in there, now. Elena sees the look in his eyes and knows what he's planning. Don't you dare sacrifice yourself. Don't you dare play hero and leave them without you. Nico's response is interrupted by gunfire outside. The attack has begun. Federal marshals return fire, but Elena can hear from the intensity that Marchetti brought overwhelming force. Nico shoves Elena toward the panic room. Get them to safety, please. If you ever cared about me at all, protect my family. It's the first time since Elena's betrayal that Nico has asked her for anything, and the trust implicit in that request destroys and rebuilds her simultaneously. Elena gathers Lucia and Gabriella, gets them into the reinforced panic room, and then does something she knows Nico won't forgive. She locks them inside and comes back out to help him fight. The battle for the safe house is brutal and desperate. Marshals are trained professionals, but Marchetti's crew has numbers and surprise. Elena grabs a gun from a fallen marshal. She's never fired a weapon in her life, but fear and adrenaline make amateurs into soldiers. She fires blindly toward the doorway where attackers are entering, and miraculously hits one. Nico is beside her, his own weapon trained steady, years of outfit training making him deadly efficient. They fight back to back like partners in a war neither chose, but both must survive. The turning point comes when FBI tactical teams arrive. Agent Foster called in reinforcements the moment the alarm triggered, and heavily armed agents swarm the safe house in overwhelming numbers. Marchetti and his surviving crew retreat, leaving casualties on both sides. The safe house is a war zone. Bullet holes in walls, blood on floors, the smell of gunpowder thick in air. Elena and Nico stand in the wreckage, both breathing hard, both realizing how close death came. Nico looks at Elena with an expression she can't read. You came back. You locked my family in safety and came back to fight with me. Elena's voice shakes. I told you I love you. That means I don't abandon you when things get hard. Agent Foster arrives in person, surveying the damage with grim satisfaction. Marchetti and 3 of his men were captured alive. The rest are dead. The threat is neutralized, at least temporarily. But Foster's expression suggests there's more bad news. This safe house is compromised. We need to move you immediately to a location so deep that even I won't know where it is. Maximum security protocol. And I'm sorry, but Elena can't come. Nico looks at Elena, and for the first time since she destroyed his trust, his expression softens into something that might be forgiveness. She comes with us, or I don't testify. Those are my terms. Foster looks ready to argue, but Nico cuts her off. Elena risked her life to warn me. She fought beside me when she could have stayed safe. She's earned the right to be part of this family, and I'm not leaving her behind again. The words hit Elena like absolution she doesn't deserve but desperately needs. Foster sighs, clearly violating multiple protocols but recognizing when a battle is lost. Fine, but Elena Martinez ceases to exist. You become Grace Patterson's sister-in-law, and you live in witness protection with them. No journalism, no investigation, no contact with anyone from your previous life. Can you accept that? Elena thinks about her career, her awards, the Tribune job waiting for her, the life she's built over 29 years. Then she looks at Nico and his family, people she betrayed and who are somehow giving her a second chance, and realizes none of that other life matters compared to this. Yes, I accept. Nico reaches for her hand, and Elena takes it, feeling like she's finally coming home after being lost for longer than she realized. They load into armored vehicles and disappear into federal protection together, leaving behind bodies and blood and the wreckage of their old lives. Whatever comes next will be dangerous and uncertain, and nothing like either of them planned. But they'll face it together, rebuilt from the ruins of betrayal into something stronger than before, and maybe that's worth every cost. 6 months in witness protection teaches Elena Martinez that disappearing is harder than dying. She lives as Sarah Patterson now, sharing a modest house in Eugene, Oregon with the family she betrayed and somehow earned a second chance with. Nico, now Michael Patterson, works as a restaurant manager at a local bistro, deliberately choosing mundane work that doesn't draw attention. Lucia tends a garden that reminds her of the one she left behind in Chicago. Gabriella attends law school under her new identity, still fighting for justice but from a different angle. And Elena? Elena writes fiction under a pen name, turning her investigative skills toward creating crime novels that feel authentic because she lived through them. They're building something that resembles normal life when Agent Foster calls on a Tuesday morning that will change everything again. "We have a problem," Foster says, and Elena's stomach drops because those words never precede good news. Tony Marchetti escaped federal custody during a prison transfer yesterday. He killed 2 marshals and disappeared. Intelligence suggests he's coming after Nico's family as his final act of revenge before leaving the country permanently. Elena's hand tightens on the phone. "How did he find us?" Foster's silence answers the question. Another leak, another corrupt official, another betrayal in a system that's supposed to protect them. Nico takes the news with the calm of someone who's been expecting this moment since the day he entered witness protection. "How long do we have?" Foster estimates 48 hours before Marchetti's network identifies their exact location. The FBI is arranging emergency relocation again, but this time deeper into protocols that will separate the family for safety. Lucia will go to Montana, Gabriella to Vermont, Nico and Elena to separate locations that even they won't know about each other. "It's the only way to guarantee survival," Foster explains. "If Marchetti captures one of you, he can't use that person to find the others." Lucia breaks down at the kitchen table, tears streaming down her face as she realizes she's losing her family again. Gabriella holds her mother while crying herself, and Elena feels crushing guilt because this is her fault. Her investigation started the chain of events that led here, but Nico surprises everyone by refusing Foster's plan. "No, we stay together. We've already lost everything. Our home, our identities, our past. I won't lose my family too. If Marchetti wants us, he can face all of us together." Foster argues that it's suicide, that they're giving Marchetti exactly what he wants. But Nico's decision is final, and Elena understands why. Some things are worth dying for, and family is one of them. The FBI establishes defensive positions around the house, turning their suburban home into a fortress with armed marshals, surveillance equipment, and escape routes. But Elena knows from her months investigating the outfit that Marchetti is creative and brutal and won't be stopped by conventional security. She spends the next day preparing in ways the FBI doesn't anticipate, researching Marchetti's patterns, understanding how he thinks, predicting his approach. Elena is no longer just a journalist. She's a strategist using everything she learned about organized crime to protect the people she loves. Marchetti comes at midnight on the second day, and he doesn't come alone. 12 men armed with military-grade weapons approach from multiple directions, overwhelming the FBI's defensive positions with coordinated precision. The firefight is immediate and devastating. Agents falling, windows shattering, the peaceful Oregon neighborhood transformed into a war zone. Elena gets Lucia and Gabriella into the reinforced panic room they've prepared, then returns to fight beside Nico and the surviving marshals. She's no longer the amateur who barely knew how to hold a gun during the Portland safe house attack. 6 months of fear and preparation have turned her into someone who can shoot straight and stay calm under fire. But Marchetti anticipated their defenses. While his crew engages the FBI at the front, Marchetti himself breaches through the back entrance using explosives that blow a hole in the kitchen wall. Elena is the first to see him, and she fires without hesitation, hitting Marchetti in the shoulder but not stopping him. He returns fire, and Elena feels burning pain as a bullet grazes her side. She drops behind cover as Marchetti advances, and she realizes with horror that he's heading toward the panic room where Lucia and Gabriella are hiding. Elena can't let him reach them. She emerges from cover and fires again, this time hitting Marchetti in the leg and making him stumble. Nico appears from another angle, his weapon trained on Marchetti with the cold professionalism of someone who grew up in the outfit and knows exactly how to kill. It's over, Tony. The FBI has the rest of your crew. You're surrounded. Drop the weapon. Marchetti laughs, blood streaming from his wounds. You think I care about dying? I'm already dead. I just want to take you with me. He raises his gun toward Nico, and Elena doesn't think. She just moves. She throws herself at Marchetti as he fires, tackling him and causing the shot to go wild. They crash to the floor together, struggling for control of the weapon, and Elena feels Marchetti's hands closing around her throat. Nico fires twice. Both shots hit Marchetti's center mass, and his grip on Elena's throat goes slack. Marchetti collapses, blood pooling beneath him, and his final words are bitter and prophetic. You can run forever, but they'll never stop coming. The outfit doesn't forgive. They'll send someone else, and someone after that, until everyone pays. He dies with those words on his lips, and Elena knows he's right. This won't end unless they end it completely. The aftermath is chaos. FBI agents securing the scene, paramedics treating wounded marshals, local police trying to understand what happened in their quiet neighborhood. Elena's side wound is superficial but painful, and she refuses treatment until she's confirmed that Lucia and Gabriella are safe. They emerge from the panic room traumatized but alive, and Lucia immediately pulls Elena into an embrace that feels like forgiveness and acceptance combined. "You saved our lives," Lucia whispers. "Thank you." It's the first time since Elena's betrayal that Nico's mother has thanked her for anything, and the words break something open inside Elena that's been frozen since Chicago. Agent Foster arrives at dawn to survey the damage and deliver surprising news. Don Castellano died of a heart attack in prison the previous night, and with both Castellano and Marchetti dead, the remaining outfit leadership is fracturing into internal conflicts. The organization that terrorized Chicago for decades is collapsing without its command structure. "You're safe," Foster tells them. "The threat is neutralized. You can come out of witness protection if you want. Return to your old identities, your old lives." But when Foster looks at the family, she sees something unexpected in their expressions. They don't want to go back. Nico explains it while holding Elena's hand in the ruins of their kitchen. Michael Patterson isn't perfect, but he's not built from blood and violence. Sarah Patterson didn't spend years lying to everyone she loved. These new people we've become, they're better than who we were before. We don't want to go back. Lucia and Gabriella agree. They've lost their past, but they've gained something more valuable, the chance to be whoever they choose to be, unburdened by family obligations and criminal legacies. They're staying in Eugene, staying in witness protection voluntarily, staying as the Patterson family. 3 months later, Elena, still Sarah Patterson, stands on the Oregon coast watching waves crash against rocks that remind her of the lighthouse in the Maine brochure she once taped to her mirror. Nico stands beside her, his arm around her waist, and they're planning a future that looks nothing like either of them imagined, but feels more right than anything that came before. They're opening a restaurant together, Nico cooking, Elena managing, called Second Chances. It's honest work creating something good instead of destroying something bad. Lucia will run the pastry program, and Gabriella is already planning pro bono legal clinics for immigrants. Elena thinks about her father sometimes, about the 10 years she spent pursuing justice that ultimately cost her everything she built in his memory. But she doesn't regret it. Carlos Martinez would have wanted her to choose love over revenge, family over career, redemption over punishment. Elena finally understands that justice isn't always about exposure and consequences. Sometimes it's about choosing to be better than the circumstances that shaped you. She'll never publish another investigative story. She'll never win another journalism award. She'll never have the career she sacrificed everything to build. But she has Nico and his family who became her family, and a life built on honesty instead of lies. On their wedding day 6 months later, a small ceremony on the beach with just family and Agent Foster as a witness, Nico gives Elena a gift. It's a framed photograph of a lighthouse on rocky coastline, identical to the one he sent her from witness protection. On the back he's written, "Some dreams don't die. They just transform into something better than we imagined. I love you, Sarah Patterson. I love you, Elena Martinez. I love whoever you choose to be because you chose to be with me. Elena cries reading those words, and they're not tears of regret but of gratitude for second chances and redemption earned through sacrifice. The story ends not with justice served or criminals punished, but with something simpler and more profound. Four people who lost everything finding it again in each other. The Chicago outfit is destroyed. Elena's father is avenged, the corruption is exposed. But more importantly, Elena learned that truth matters less than love, that careers matter less than family, and that sometimes the best ending isn't the one you planned, but the one you earned by becoming someone worthy of it. She's no longer the ambitious journalist willing to destroy lives for a story. She's Sarah Patterson, restaurant owner, wife, daughter to Lucia and sister to Gabriella, living an honest life under an assumed name, and finally at peace. And maybe that's worth everything she lost along the way.